Go ahead and bust out those brooms because for the second day in a row, we've swept all of our picks. We've gone 6-0 in the last two videos. We're going to look to try to keep that momentum going tonight. My name's CJ Curry. If you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. It's free for you to subscribe. You may want to also turn on those notifications, ring that bell, turn on all notifications so that anytime I drop a new video here on the channel, you guys are alerted immediately. You don't miss out on any of that content. I appreciate you guys leaving all those likes as well. Let's try to go for over 100 likes in today's video. It's a simple gesture for you, but it means a lot to me in getting these videos out to as many people as possible. So if you could run those likes up, I'd appreciate it big time. Let's take a quick peek at yesterday's slip. It ended up cashing. Some of you people are like, man, he talks about these picks, but he never plays them. Yes, I do play them. I play every single one of them. Why would I tell you about a really good pick and then not take it myself? That's just dumb. Anyway, here's what we went with. Miles Bridges over 14.5 field goals attempted. He went over, finished with 16. DeMar DeRozan was a bit of a sweat, but he stayed under 24.5 points plus assists against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo, I told you guys, he likes to get up and rise to the challenge against tough teams. And the New York Knicks are one of the tough teams. Heck, he might end up playing for the Knicks one day. You just never know if he leaves Milwaukee. But anyway, over 10.5 two-point field goal makes, and he cashed that with 13 or more. It ended up being more. He went way over. Anyway, pretty easy peasy stuff there. Now, if you want to join a community where I'm giving out even more picks, plays, and parlays, I've got the Dub Club set up for you guys. You've heard me talk about it in previous videos. For as little as $10 in your first month, you get all my picks, all my plays, all my parlays, all the helpful stats and useful information that I send out via Discord. It's all sent to you. You get notifications. All you do is click links and tail. And yeah, hopefully you start winning more together. So if that's interesting to you and that's something you want to be a part of, a friendly community, I've left a link down in the description and pinned to the top comment down in the comment section below. You guys let me know if that's something you want to do. All right. We've cashed out 6-0 in the last couple of videos. We're on a roll. We're going to try to keep the roll going. So for that, we got to slide on over to the PrizePicks board and take a peek at what we got today. Let's see. They messed with me. I started to record a video and then they started pulling and changing props on me in the middle of the video. So I ended up having to basically start the video over from scratch. So this is the second take here. So let's start things off by looking at the first pick. And I'm looking at Kristaps Porzingis today. He's going up against the Brooklyn Nets. There's a lot of different ways you could play Porzingis. I mean, you could take the over on his points plus assists, his points plus rebounds. They all look good. He's in a very favorable matchup here against Brooklyn, but I think for the sake of this video, I'm going to stick with the points plus assists. It's got the higher hit rate amongst the other props. But if they bump this up from 17.5 points plus assists to, like, let's say 18.5 or 19.5, and you're still looking for another option, maybe they leave his points at 16.5, his points and rebounds at 22.5. Feel free to take one of those instead. I don't really think there's a bad choice amongst the bunch, but I'm going to start things off by looking at the 17.5 points plus assists for the over here. And we'll go over to Outlier. Pull Outlier up. You've seen these Outlier screens in the videos that I've been using recently, and Outlier's offering a 7-day free trial. So head on down to the description if you want to get your hands on Outlier and start plugging in names and looking at numbers. And Outlier will cover you for all of those different things. But looking at what he's done here over the last couple of games, he's only played 2 games this season, been battling an illness, but there's no news or signs or symptoms that he's going to be out sick for this game. If he does happen to be out, well, then PrizePicks will void this pick. It'll be a reboot, in other words, and we'll keep things moving. But he's had 22 points plus assists against the Toronto Raptors, and then came back with another strong performance against the Chicago Bulls, finishing with 29 points plus assists against the Bulls. Now, in terms of this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets against centers, which is where Porzingis usually slots in, 27th in points allowed and 23rd in assists allowed. So in other words, these are both green matchups. They give up a lot of points. They give up a lot of assists, especially to the center position. And they give up a lot of points and assists overall. I mean, they rank 30th in points allowed and 30th in assists allowed. So doesn't get any better in this given matchup here. So hopefully Atlanta takes advantage. Hopefully Kristaps Porzingis keeps it rolling. Now, looking back at last season, he played the Brooklyn Nets a total of 2 times here, March 15th and March 18th. So he played them twice in a span of 3 days. Had 24 PA and 28 PA against them in those games. So again, Usually they start Nicholas Claxton at center. Usually Porzingis starts for center at the for the Boston Celtics and now for the Atlanta Hawks, and he's killed him. I mean, he's killed him. I don't know how else to say it. So hopefully Porzingis is feeling good. He seemed to be feeling good when he played in his last game, which was just 2 days ago. So I think he's on the upswing. He's on the mend, and he's looking really nice here to go over 17.5 points plus assists. Taking a look at some projections, we're going to go over to RotoWire and start things off there. KP6. Is he still wearing number 6? You guys let me know down in the comment section below. I don't know if he's KP6 anymore, but he was KP6 with Boston and a number of other teams. But RotoWire's got very favorable projections here for all these Kristaps Porzingis props. So if you want to take the over on the points plus assists like we're talking about, you could do that. You can see the projection bar for the points plus rebounds is also all the way to the right, which means a good projection there. And then his points at 16.5 are projecting well too. So pretty much anything that involves his points is projecting off the charts today. But for the sake of this video, we're going to look at the points plus assists. His projection rather is 25.19 PA today. A 25.19 points plus assist projection on a line of just 17.5. A difference of about 7.7 points plus assists. So loving what I'm seeing here for Kristaps Porzingis. His line's look entirely too low. Looking at the next projection, this one's going to be Shot Quality's projection for Kristaps Porzingis. Again, I look at multiple projection models because every projection model just tends to be a little bit different from one to the next. But this one's a little bit on the lower side. It's at 19.79 points plus assists. Still has him going over by what? More than 2 PA. Still a very strong projection, so I think we're fine here with this projection at 19.8, let's call it, points plus assists. Line Star's the next one. Line Star, another favorable projection for Kristaps Porzingis, points plus assists, 25.6. Another massive projection here for Porzingis, so Line Star's projection models really liking Kristaps Porzingis to clear this line. And then last but not least, we're going to go over to Betting Pros and look at Porzingis there. His projection is at 20.7 points plus assists, a differential of 3.2. So loving what I'm seeing from Kristaps Porzingis and all these different projections for him. So that's your pick number 1. Pick number 2 is going to be Joshua Giddey. And I'm actually looking at taking the under on Giddey tonight at 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists going up against Sacramento. Sacramento, surprisingly, has been pretty stingy when it comes to giving up points, giving up rebounds, and giving up assists to opposing teams and guards in particular. So I'm looking to lean toward the under here on Giddey, and he's been close in a lot of games, but has went under in the majority of the games that he's played in this season. In fact, the only game that he's went over, he just went over by 1. So he barely went over at 35.5 PRA. So looking at 3 games from this season, 35 PRA in the opener, 32 PRA against Orlando, and then the most recent game, 36 PRA against the Atlanta Hawks, but they're not a very tough team defensively, not like the Sacramento Kings are. Speaking of the Kings, they rank 9th in points allowed to opposing teams, so giving up not that many points. Rebounds allowed, they rank 1st, although I think this is a little bit of a mistake, but we'll look at it a little more of a detailed positional PRA allowed in just a minute. But anyway, 13th in assists allowed. Taking a look at the point guard position, which is what Giddey usually plays for the Chicago Bulls. They rank 10th in points allowed to opposing point guards, 9th in rebounds allowed to opposing point guards, and 6th in assists allowed to opposing point guards. So this is a green matchup for the under for both P, R, and A, so all of the above. Now, we take a look at the head-to-heads. He's only played Sacramento once, at least in recent memory, and in that game from last season, ended up with 30 points, rebounds, and assists in that one, so he did go under in that game. So Giddey averaging right around 34.3 points, rebounds, and assists for the season. The under's looking like the way that I'm probably going to go on this prop. Taking a look at some other data here, we've got some projections for Josh Giddey. We slide on over to the RotoWire projections and go down to the PRA for Josh Giddey. And he's going to be on the lean more side, but his projection is actually just 34.61, which is less than 35.5 by about 0.89 PRA. So first projection has him going under. Shot quality's projection for Giddey, which is one of my favorite models here. They've got him at about 34.5, 34.49 to be exact. So they have him shaded under ever so slightly. And as you recall from previous videos, when it comes to these PRA projections, well, you got to take another 10 to 20% off of any of the projections, whether it be PRA, points, or whatever. Take another 10 to 20% off. Just remember that rule of thumb. 35.2 is projection over on LineStar. 35.2 less than 35.5, obviously. So another projection model that has him going under. And then last but not least, we'll also take a peek at the Betting Pros site. Betting Pros is a free projection site, by the way, if you guys want to check them out. Definitely recommend them for a free option. They got him at about 17.3 points, about 16.2 rebounds and assists. So you kind of combine those two figures, and that definitely puts him under 35.5 PRA, right around 33.5 if you add those two up. So Giddey expected to go under on a number of different models today. And a quick peek out on the sports books for Josh Giddey. They've got Giddey's PRA prop looking like an under for the PA at a 54%. So if you wanted to take the PA, you could go that route. But the PRA, he's about 50.3% to go under. So it's kind of a coin flip right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if this line slid down to about 34.5 before tip-off. So if you want to take the PA right now, that's the more optimal way to go. But the PRA is the one that I'm going to probably end up on. So that is your picks there for Josh Giddey. Moving on to pick number 3. This one's going to be a little bit more controversial, but Nikola Jokic under 2-point attempts versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And this is one that, again, could be a little bit concerning because the Pelicans are, historically speaking, the last couple of seasons pretty bad against opposing bigs. So if Nikola Jokic really just wanted to put his head down and get buckets, he could. But one factor that I'm kind of considering here is maybe they give Jonas Valanciunas, the backup for Nikola Jokic, a little bit more playing time, as this is kind of a revenge matchup. Valanciunas, once a member of the New Orleans Pelicans, obviously, for quite a while there after leaving the Raptors and Grizzlies. But yeah, anyway, I could see a situation where the Denver Nuggets end up blowing them out. They're like 13.5-point favorites, and then they let Joe Val maybe have his way with his former team. But anyway, let's take a closer look at this one. We're going to go back over to Outlier. This season, Nikola Jokic at 12.5 2-point attempts. He's went under in 3 out of 3 games, 10, 5, and 10 against Golden State, Phoenix, and Minnesota, respectively. He's averaging right around 8.3 2-point field goal attempts per game. So very low average, perfect hit rate, 3 out of 3 under on this 12.5 2-point field goal attempts number. Now, like I said, it's a little bit concerning in terms of the previous games. This was obviously from last season, but we kind of take a peek at those. He had 17, 10, and 15 in 3 matchups against the New Orleans Pelicans. So he did go under in 1 out of those 3 games. But this season, if you take a look at the recent numbers here, the New Orleans Pelicans rank 3rd, surprisingly, in 2-point attempts allowed per game, which means they're one of the top 3 most stingiest teams in the NBA at 2-pointers allowed to opposing teams. Kind of crazy. You wouldn't really think of New Orleans like that. But anyway, taking a quick look at the 2024 season, Jokic at 12.5 2-point field goal attempts. He really only went under this prop in 39% of the games. And that's a little concerning. But then when you factor in games where the Denver Nuggets beat the other team by 13 or more points, well, his hit rate goes all the way up to 60%. So in those blowout style games, blowout matchups, he actually hit the under at 12.5 2-point field goal attempts at a 60% clip. Much, much better. And then when you look at the games at home where they blow them out, about 60% there as well. So kind of interesting how that number goes up. The hit rate number goes up for Jokic. But nonetheless, I do have a couple of projections for this one. These field goal attempt and field goal make props and stuff. You're not going to find a lot of sites out there that offer projections for them, but I do have a couple of them up my sleeve. And the first one is going to be this one, which is RotoWire. RotoWire's got Nikola Jokic for his total field goal attempts at 13.5. So if you take the 13.5 number and you subtract his 3-point attempt projection, which is 5.4, you're left with about 8.1 2-point attempts for Nikola Jokic. So that's their projection for his 2-point field goal attempts. Only 8.1, very low number there. Now, another projection that you can find is over on shot quality for this number. And Nikola Jokic's 2-point attempt projection there is 11.68. So they have him going under 12.5, just like RotoWire does. So 2 out of 2 projection models have Jokic shaded for the under at 12.5. So guys, that's what I have for you today. Leave a like on today's video. I appreciate all the love and support. 6-0 in the last 2 videos. We're going to try to keep it alive with these 3 picks. Cross your fingers. I like to flex my 3 picks, my 4 picks, all my picks. I flex everything just because I don't need to get rich quick. And, you know, if I miss one, well, you get the safety net of a refund. So that's just my tip, my advice. Flex everything if you can. It's there for a reason. It's there to help you stay in the game. Don't get greedy. We've got all the way till June when it comes to playing NBA player props. So long road ahead. Pace yourselves and bet responsibly, of course. Catch you in the next video real soon. Good luck. Peace.